The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Welcome to the offices of Duke & Duke, 100 South Broadway, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are going to start out with the German DAX and the FTSE, both of those. If you'll take a very, very close look at these this morning, folks, you are looking at perfect Gartley patterns in both of these. And I think the importance of this will be made to your information in just a second when I tell you that the open interest in the NASDAQ and the E-mini S&P 500 had huge drops yesterday, folks. So a lot of that 70-point handle in the S&P was short covering, where people were just getting out and just couldn't stand the heat anymore. Now, we took a look at it at 34.05, if you'll remember. And I believe it was 34, or was it 35.05? Gee, I'm losing track of the old, of the, let's see, I think it was 34. I think it was 34.05. Anyway, it went through there so fast that it was a nickel loss faster that you can, even blink your eye. But I'll take that any day, folks. It was 35.03. You're right, Jim. And if you were watching the action, when it hit 35.05, the number was 35.03. When we hit 35.05, it just exploded to the upside. It was trading at 35.09, 35.10 in just a matter of a few seconds, much like what we had here in gold here, where we dropped from 1929, which was a 61% retracement last night's high, and we now have broken down. We're looking at 1905 today as a potential low in the gold, folks. So put your telescope on that and sort of keep an eye on it. I had several questions yesterday about where's the high in the stock market. Folks, I don't know, and I don't really care. All I'm doing is I'm just waiting for a pattern to show its handle that I don't have to risk very much. And yesterday, that pattern happened to be at 35.03. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Yesterday, we were talking about, the move that we were looking at for the Treasury bonds. That one was absolutely worked perfect. The one in the euro was working very good, and we had another one in the gold that worked very good on the long side. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But by golly, you have to do one at a time and just move on to the next one when it's time to do that. The good news is today we're going to have as our guest one of our dear friends, Bill Meridian of Cycles Research, one of the premier cycle guys on this planet, and he'll be talking to us about the markets, and I'm sure he'll be talking to us about the election, because as you know, he's been talking about this for quite some time, and we're going to see, how it ends up, but we'll take a look at it. So that's basically what we're looking at here for this morning. And then I believe, on Thursday we're going to have. Tomorrow we have Joe DiNapoli. He will be our guest. Friday we will have Tim Bost. We have a new moon on Friday too. We want to take a quick look on that. And then on Thursday the 15th, stay tuned, because I have a very good human interest story, one of my all-time favorites regarding baseball, and I think you'll enjoy that one. That's on October 15th, a big anniversary date for me, and we'll have a good time looking at that. By the way, I have to mention yesterday, my friend Bob Thompson, his AKA nickname was Buckwheat because he had ears like a 747, and he was a very, very dear friend, and we put him in the ground yesterday there in Terre Haute, Indiana, where his mother was buried. His father is at Arlington Cemetery in Washington, but at the funeral yesterday, my sister happened to, be representing us there. And so Marty, his wife, was there, and Andrew and Amy, who were both attorneys, both of them. And Andrew came up to my sister and said to her, he said, we still have these coins that your brother sold to Bob, 40 years ago when I was at Drexel. Bob was one of my very first investors in the soybean oil deal back in 1975, because we were pretty tight, and he was a college professor. He was a high school professor then became a college professor. He put $5,000 in it, and we did pretty good. And then when I went to work at Drexel in '76, we had already closed everything out, and so he was bucks up. He had made like 50 large, and he gave me $10,000 to invest, and 5 of it we put into 30 Cougar rands, and he still has the original 30 Cougar rands from 1976, and the average price on those was about, I think, 132 to 138. I looked at my records last night, and we bought them in 2 sections, and but he still has them after all these years. Never got to enjoy them much, but I'm sure the family and his grandkids are going to. So that was one of the reasons I had a big smile on my face today, folks, and I really need help today, and I'll tell you why. I'm switching over computers. I've had this lovely laptop here for about 4 years, and it's starting to show signs of, stress. And so I've got a brand new laptop, and I'm trying to get everything lined up with it. And boy, as you know, I fight this technical stuff to the ends of the earth, but hopefully I'll have it done within a week and get all the data over. But I'll keep using it until we get everything, completely done. But boy, I'll tell you, it's all the frustration in this business that I have relates to these computers. It's really quite tough anyway to look at. But I will be looking for a place to sell. I'm not going to sell the NASDAQ because it's too strong, but I would be looking to sell the S&P today. And what I'm going to be looking for is I'll take a 15-minute chart, and I'm going to be looking for a Gartley to pop up. And believe me, these markets they're very active. They swing around quite a bit. I mean, look at yesterday. The NASDAQ was down 50. When we were trading in the overnight market, early evening, and in a matter of a few minutes, I mean, I'm talking 10, 15 minutes, it was unchanged on the day and went 100 and some handles higher, blasted out into higher ground yet. So, I mean, these are not, we're not doing it. I haven't put any charts up other than the Jet DAX and stuff. So that's why I haven't done anything yet, because I wanted to do one thing at a time. So we'll take a quick look here at why we probably had this sell-off in the gold, because we were looking at the same type of pattern here in the silver. This is the silver on a daily. We missed that ABCD pattern by 5 cents. And that came in at 25.90. We were looking at 25.84. Oh wow, it hit it. 25.84 was a high. 25.90 was the high, and so that's why we were thinking it was going to be backing off from that ABCD, because we had the same one in gold. If you remember, we talked about that yesterday. It was going to have a lot of trouble up around that 1929 level. So the key level now in the gold, the ABCD structure on that, all comes down to the 1905 level. I don't have it here. Oh, yes, I do. Just 1 second here. This will be the real key level. Let's get this up here so we can see it. I brought this to your attention because I wanted to highlight the fact that the important support that was going to fail at the 1916, which was the 382. We'll be right back.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, Taz understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the Taz Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, I believe we have Bill Meridian on the line, Cycles Research in Vienna, Austria. Bill, how are you today?
Hello from just outside of Princeton, New Jersey.
Ah, that's right. You've been a resident of the Big Apple for quite a while. Well, around that area for quite a while now, haven't you?
Yes.
Oh boy. What do you have any plans of going back sometime in soon? Are things how are they going over there in Austria, Bill, as far as the virus and stuff?
Well, in a country of 8 million people, they only had 650 deaths.
Wow.
And they started opening up again, and then they closed down again. But they didn't close down fully. They have not closed down opera and things like that, but they've got all of these rules. And most recently, if you go to the cafe, you have to give them all your contact information. So if somebody who patronizes the cafe comes down with it, they're going to call you.
Can Americans travel freely into Vienna?
If you have I don't know if they can. I'm an Austrian citizen. I have to have a valid negative COVID test in hand, but the problem, Larry, has been that nobody can get it done in time for me to catch the flight.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Because it can't be older than 72 hours, and the travel time is about 20. So I had one test, and they said they were going to rush it, and they didn't do it. They didn't get it done. So I'm about to try a Princeton Medical Center and maybe return right after the election or in the last week of this month.
Okay. Use my name there, Bill. It might help you get the test done quicker, okay? Hey, listen.
People are telling me, I have Austrians and Americans stuck here saying there's no reason to go back there. It's more comfortable being here than over there at the moment.
Oh, wow. About 6 months ago, you told us this thing was going to get really crazy around election time, and
Oh, yes.
I think that was even before the COVID. What are you looking at now, Bill? We're looking at. You want to run through what you're looking at today, so the folks can get an idea, and then we have a few questions already ready to go. So please,
what page are you
go
on,
ahead
by
and
the way?
start.
Oh, where are you? What page? I sent you.
I'm on page 2. I have page 2 up there.
The announcements. I'm at Forbes.com in Great Speculations, the foundation of the study of cycles. I'm on the boards, come back to life. And my astrology columns have moved from Dell Horoscope to the Mountain Astrologer. So those are the 3 announcements. Mm-hmm. And the 2020 updated forecast. S&P to move higher. That's quite an interesting situation, which we'll go through. Bonds likely to rally. Bonds have been very troublesome, but I think I finally got the cycles right here. And gold is to correct in this month before moving higher, which means I think it's rallying this week and then getting clobbered next month, and then it starts rallying again in the following week, the last week of the month, and then rallies in November. And here we go with Larry's favorite here, signs of excess. The Hakut site, a great wave print, was auctioned last week by Christie's in New York. It's 10 by 15 inches. An estimated 5,000, 8,000 copies were printed. Estimate was $150,000 to $250,000, and it sold for $1.1 million.
Gee.
Which makes it the most valuable artwork ever. 5,000 times 1 million equals 5 billion. And there's a picture. And again, for those who haven't heard me before, this is a sign that the central bank of the U.S., known as the Federal Reserve, has simply printed way too much money. And I know this next one, Larry, you were considering getting this for your living room.
Grandson,
It went for when I spoke last. The estimate was $6 to $8 million. It went for $38 million for a dinosaur skeleton. Again, it's a sign that there is simply too much liquidity around and enough money, as my old friend Ian Notley used to say, for any Tom, Dick, or Harry to buy anything. And when everything goes up together, everything comes down together. So at the moment, you're in the up phase. And here we have a Tiger Woods golf club win for $155,000, a new record for a putter. And last, here we have...
For a putter?
Yeah, for a putter, $155,000.
I wouldn't have paid more than $125 for it myself, but what do I know?
Okay. This Fiat 500 Jolly with wicker seats is a 70 to 100,000 pound estimate. So if you want to get your bids in, it hasn't sold yet. I had never heard of one of these. 1963 Fiat beach car. So that's what's happening. And, during these booms, where do you think the money is coming from? So anyway, let's go down now to October. Now, this is what I did for September. You remember I said September, the odds, according to this methodology, the odds of September being up were 1 in 6, if you remember when I was on a month ago.
Yes.
Now I've reversed it. So October, all months, 56% are up. This is from 1885. October, in years ending in a 0, 69.2% have been up. October in election years, 54.5% up. October in both 0 and election years, which I believe has only been, I think it's 8. It's 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8, 83.3% up. Now, let me just say, years ending in 0 are usually down for the year. But by this time of the year ending in a 0, the market is usually down substantially. So it usually bottoms in October. That's why that 69.2 is so high. So this is what I call a static presentation for those of you out there who want to study cycles. Let's go down to the next slide. This is dynamic. If the S&P is up from October 1 to 12, and we're now on 13, you can see from 1885, you can see that 4 weeks later, 46 times up, 23 down. That's 67% up. 1 week later, 42 and 27. 2 weeks later, 40 and 29. 3 weeks later, 41 and 28. And I mentioned 4 weeks later. Look at 5 weeks later. In other words, you're up about 65, 70% of the time if the S&P is up from October 1 to 12, where it's usually weak. So in other words, there's something stronger overriding the natural calendar day cycle, which is, of course, The calendar is generated by the relative position of the Earth and the Sun, so you could call it a solar cycle or an Earth cycle. So this is looking very good right here, and I'm very long. As you remember, I said, I think I said that the low would be in late September. I forget exactly what I said, but now let's just go down. How do you confirm this? Let's go down one more slide. And I should have made this a little bigger, but I'm looking at the retracement. First of all, the blue retracement area. This market only corrected 23.6%. I thought it would be 38.2, so I got the magnitude wrong. But you see a little AB at a very short C. And then it bottomed and took off and, in fact, gapped up. Well, the gap up is telling you a lot. And you see that little 38.2%. Now I'm looking at the red lines, up in the upper right-hand corner. The 38.2% in blue, that's denoted by that red dashed line, horizontal line. The minute it goes above 38.2%, as my old friend Tony Plumber in London would remind us, that pretty much tells you the odds are pretty high that the market's going higher. If it's an ongoing correction, it would hit 38.2% and turn down. And as you can see, it's been very strong. So there's a static cycle projection, a dynamic one, and then a confirmation from the market analysis.
Wow. We're going to pay a few bills, and we'll be right back with Bill,
pay the bills.
Meridian of Cycles Research. We're going to pay the bills. Thanks, Bill. We'll be right back, folks. 8-7.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're on slide 12 with Bill Meridian, Cycles Research. Bill, would you mind continuing, please?
Sure. We're now on 12. Well, this is, again, if you haven't seen the presentation before, that is the cycles projection done by my software. That takes all of the most recent cycles, combines them together, it tests them individually and in combination, telling you which ones are the most profitable. And the mistake that most cycles researchers make is they use R square or they use some statistical measure. And, we're not trying to win the Nobel Prize in quantitative analysis. We're trying to make money. And if you look to the lower left, you'll see that little cycle peak, the dashed line. And you note the solid line. That was not too far off. It topped a little bit before the cycle top, and it bottomed a little bit after the cycle bottom. And you'll notice it's climbing that wall now. And now we'll have a little dip here. But I think that'll be in early November around the election. I think that little dip you see that's in the future is uncertainty associated with the election. Then you get another rally up. And then kind of Novembers, by the way, are not all that. Novembers are kind of flat. That type of analysis you saw me do, where I went through all Octobers, all Octobers in election years. November's kind of flat. And December is not as strong as it usually is, but that cycle you're looking at does not peak until January. So we could imply from that, you would think that if Biden wins the election, and I have no idea how or why the Democrats are running their campaign so poorly, that the market would sell off. Well, the market does not sell off here, and which would imply that Trump's going to win. And just talking to people around here, in certain areas, you see all these Biden signs and you see no Trump signs, but instead you see American flags because people are apparently afraid to put out Trump signs. They don't want their property vandalized. I've heard a lot of this in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So that is what the cycle looks like. And just again, for those interested in cycles, every time I turn the computer on, it of course takes in the new numbers. When I turn it on, when I fire this program up, it will incorporate the data from yesterday, and it generates numbers to show me how well the cycle is fitting. And that cycle is fitting well. Let's go down to the weekly cycle, and you see the weekly cycle also shoots up. So that should extend this rally into sometime into November 10th. Then you'll notice that decline. Now, the weekly cycle, the declines in the weekly cycle, here's why, have only been right 1 out of 8 times. That's 12.5%, which is not at all reliable. 50% is low. But that's what happens in a strong uptrend. The monthly cycle is dominating. And the weekly cycle, you can rely, well, you look, it's a pretty good fit. Look to the upper left. You see that peak, and you see the cycle came down, and then it overshot. And now it's pointing up, the market. So everything's okay for now. I think I'm up until about election time. And of course, again, for those who are interested in cycles, we'll go down. This is the most basic, the 1, the 4, and the 10-year cycle. The 1-year cycle, of course, being the election year cycle, which is supposedly due to the Federal Reserve juicing up the money supply. But the problem with that is the 4-year cycle existed before the establishment of the Federal Reserve in 1913 and exists in countries in which there are 4-year election cycle, an 8-year election cycle, or no elections whatsoever. In other words, there's a 4-year cycle period. And the 10-year cycle, of course, is the decennial pattern developed by Edgar Lawrence Smith. And the 1-year cycle is just the annual cycle of the year, and you see that red line drop sharply in September because September has been the weakest month, June the second weakest. So let's look at the summary of that. There are those cycles added together, this blue line, and what does it show? But it shows a low right around October 10th. And so that's it. I mean, if there are other cycles out there, which undoubtedly I think there are, then I don't know where they are or how we find them, but the one I rely on the most, it takes in all of the current cycles that are profitable and adds them together. So that's the number one, and then I try and confirm it with the other cycles, and then it's up to the market, which, Larry, I'm sure you understand, the 38.2% retracement, the gap up, and as long as everything is everything. Well, most things are compatible. All the lights aren't always green. The stock market is out there to make you look silly if you're trying to predict and to take away all your money if you're trading. So let's apply this to a stock. This is the Procter & Gamble.
Okay.
This is the PG. That is the daily cycle. Now, this is daily. That's why it's a bit of more of a sawtooth.
Just a second. I got it the wrong one, Bill. Just a minute.
Page 16.
Yeah, there we go.
And you'll note the buy signal, which was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice the peak up there on October 18th. In the last year, 8 of such signals have been correct. So it runs up for 1 week. It's a daily. But the weekly cycle, which I'm not showing right here, has been also in an up mode, and it's been 8 out of 9 have been accurate. So you got daily and weekly pointing up. How about the month of October? Well, the month of October has been the single strongest month to hold PG, up 68.3% of all such months over the last 41 years. So I think the target is 150 by month's end. Now, the only thing that's out of sync here is the monthly cycle, which I think is flat. That's the only thing that is not pointing up. And it makes a bit of sense. I've said to people, I managed a big technology portfolio in Abu Dhabi, and I had to go through this in 2000. I said, well, look, money's going to cycle out of the big tech stocks and go somewhere else. And this is somewhere else. It's Procter & Gamble, big, well-known company. The other one I bought the week before is Triple M, which I'm still holding. And let's go down one more slide. Here are the technicals. And you'll note that little August to September, that little flat period, and now it's risen up out. And I think this chart's a day old. Then you see the momentum. The blue line is curling up. And you notice the most important, the relative strength. P&G divided by the S&P 500, you'll see that bottom back last June. And it's trending up. So this is enough technical confirmation for me. I should have put in the bar chart. It's really the seasonal chart for PG. It's quite remarkable. There are guys in Austria, they only have the seasonal cycle. And I told them I could work with them and incorporate all this other stuff, but they don't want to hear it. I'm double their age, but they don't want to listen to me. And so they're running into all the predictable problems that one runs into when you're only using the seasonal cycle and nothing else. Mm-hmm. So shall we apply this to gold?
Now you've hit the hot button for everybody. Just 1 second here. Let me get the gold. Bill, you're 77, aren't you, or 76?
I'm sorry?
Are you 77 or 76?
I mean age?
Yeah.
71.
71. Oh, dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just a youngster, for heaven's sakes. Okay, we got the gold seasonality chart up. You got their attention, too, my friend.
Yeah, well, you'll note the strong seasonal time of the year, June, July, August, September, and October. Now, that October, most of that weakness occurs in the second half of the month. You see how that you have that dip there in the histogram? And by the way, this histogram is constructed by expected return. So in other words, if the market is up 2% in any given month, but it's only up 50% of the time, 0.5 times 2 is 1.0. So it's expected return. And you'll notice November, December, then January, February. The weakest time of the month is really March through June. The weakest time of the year, I should say. And so next question is, what do the cycles look like? Well, let's go down. And here we have the weekly and the monthly, one on top of the other. And you'll notice they both point up. Except I hear the music in the background. And anyway,
the gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of the sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're talking with Bill Meridian about gold. You want to continue on, Bill?
Yeah. Well, just I'll recap. The monthly cycle you can see is pointing up. The weekly cycle is bottoming, in fact, today, and shows a run up. But let's go look at this is gold performance, and that's the average month of October, all Octobers, 1969 to the present added together. And you see that slump that begins around today. So here you have a cycle conflict with the weekly and the monthly pointing up and this one pointing down. So I think you've got this week to go on the upside to sideways trading. Then I think you'll get a washout in gold until Halloween time, or November 1st or so, and then it'll start to rally again. And the people who I didn't upgrade these, but Jupiter and Neptune, the planets, have a great influence on gold prices. And here we see again, I'll explain this, from that dashed green line down the middle is the exact angle of Jupiter being 60 degrees to Neptune. Now this has happened. This was number 8. And I had this on your show, you recall, before it happened. Yes. And you can see how well that timed that correction. And now it's occurring again right now. Let's go to slide 2. And it's taking place October the 11th, which was 2 days ago. And so this points to, now you see why I'm indicating a correction in the second half of October, because this cycle is down and so is the annual cycle. And the weekly cycle will also be down temporarily. So I think we're going to get a short, sharp washout into the first week of November, and then it'll rally again. And let me just go back and say, if you're looking at the calendar cycle, which everybody does, and I made this point, they asked me to speak at MIT twice. What am I going to tell these guys? So I said, how many people here believe in an annual cycle in the stock market? It rallies in the spring, it tops, September's the worst month, there's a Christmas rally. All the hands go up. I said, well, how do you get that? And nobody answered, so I said, you get it from a calendar. How do you calculate a calendar? Relative position of the Earth and the Sun. And then everybody started to look pretty sour. And they had been waltzed from one side of the floor to the other. I said, if you're using the solar cycle, why not the moon? Why not Mars? Why not Jupiter and Neptune? And Jupiter and Neptune, from traditional astrology, is known to have something to do with inflation, silver prices, gold prices, oil prices. Now, people who have this tend to be very optimistic, so they do exceptionally well in inflationary periods. So that's the connection and the reason I look at these things. And this, by the way, this is now, if we get this sell-off, this is going to be 9 out of 9 since 1969. And it won't occur again for about 12 or 13 years that they're spaced that far apart. So they come in a sequence, and then you don't get anything for 12 or 13 years. So let's go down one more. And, of course, last time I added in oil. And there you see the oil monthly cycle, and you'll notice that it started to decline before the peak. That's a sign of weakness if it starts to decline before the cycle peak. And then it rallied back up. You notice I drew that little horizontal bar, and actually this is gold. Oil was down around 39 something, so that chart is one day out of date. But I bet that if that cycle is down and I'm right and it's bearish, then it should not rally above that line, which it didn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for oil. Now, you just get a picture of this. The oil cycle, September through April, is down monthly. That's a long stretch. Let's look at the oil seasonality. And where are we? We're in the month of October. And we don't really get any seasonal strength until March. So there's not much holding oil up. I am short it, and I think it'll go to $31, $32, and I got that just by normal retracement levels. Mm-hmm. So I'm still short oil. And bonds, now this is the annual cycle for bonds, and you'll note July and August are strong months, but I believe it declined in August, which is very unusual. The bonds have been very acyclical. I think the interest rates are being manipulated by all this money dumped into the system, that the capacity to inflate the currency has increased over the years. So it is no wonder that old seasonal cycles would stop working or be altered somehow. But you see October is an okay month. November is an okay month. And let's look at the bond monthly cycle. Now, I just reran this. This is one cycle. The S&P monthly cycle, I have not had to reoptimize that for 2 years. The bond cycle just stopped fitting. It started generating. You turn it on, you get the bond cycle up, and it shows negative. It shows you're losing money following this cycle. That's the time to reoptimize it. And you'll note that it came down with the cycle, and it shows a bottom here. I am currently, I have a small long position. I've closed out my short positions profitably, and it points up basically November, the middle of November up until the middle of February. So that is, I don't think you're going to see much movement, but I don't think you should be short bonds. That's the message I'm getting, but I don't see that much. I don't see much magnitude here, up or down.
Yeah, that was my trade for today. They certainly they held that bottom there at 173 for 4 days, and it's just started to move up. And boy, it's certainly oversold. That's for sure. Bill, I have a question before you go on to the next slide. Your friends over in Abu Dhabi, you did a lot of trading for them. Did they get into the art world? I mean, buying the expensive art, like Da Vinci and all that other stuff these dudes are doing over there?
Generally, no. If you go into any Arab household, it is a lot of space, a lot of bare walls, and local art, art of the Middle East. But you do have one guy up in Dubai, I can't remember his name, but they called him the Rainbow Sheikh because he dressed so colorfully. But people like that in Dubai and Saudi Arabia, they do buy art, yes. But
okay.
On average, no.
Well, I have a couple of lovely Elvis paintings that I got down in Nogales on crushed velour that is just absolutely spectacular. I hope to show it to him someday because as you walk across the room, his eyes actually follow you. I mean, it's just amazing. Bill, tell us about your Cycles Research Warning Service and, what you offer to the folks, okay?
Well, that's that I offer to the public. It's a monthly service, $300 a year, and it comes out before the first trading day of every new month, and it includes interim updates in case I'm wrong and I need to change something. I do that. And that's it. I have institutional services. They offer the institutions to cover many more markets. And, you've got a lot of some people, they closed down a lot of proprietary trading with the financial crisis. I think the way their response to the financial crisis is let's close down all the get rid of all the CTAs and let's get rid of all the internal traders. They're starting to come back now, and they're being very successful. And my one client had $1 billion under management 3 years ago. He's now got 8. He's up 23% this year. He's the only guy I know who's ahead of me. I'm up 17%. And they do a lot of this, have a great deal of faith in it. And so I advise a lot of those people. And, of course, I still do horoscopes for people because when you love something, you love it, and you keep doing it. And that I have all sorts of interesting stories to tell about that. I have one client moving from Hong Kong to Switzerland and wants me to relocate his chart and tell him what Switzerland will be like for him. And by the way, about being 71, I went in the local place here, Teddy's, which is in Cranberry, New Jersey, which is a lovely colonial town. And I said, they finally got to know me, and they started talking to me. And I said, how old are you? I said, I'm 71. And nobody could believe it. And I said, yeah, well, I've been practicing a long time to stay this young. So,
hey, Bill, stay with us. I have one other human interest story between you and I about your horoscope stuff. 877-927-6648. Bill Meridian, Cycles Research. We'll be right back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks and commodities, along with specific recommendations including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we have Bill Meridian on the line. Bill, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I met you in 1983 when I was friends with Victoria Martin, when I was trading on the floor of the exchange with Byron Tucker, the old group. You remember us? Yep. Anyway, I wanted you to do my chart, and you said, well, what was your birth time? And I didn't have my birth time because the hospital in Terre Haute, or in Vigo County in Clinton, where I lived, Vermilion County, where I was born, had burned down. And you said, well, what information could you give me, and I'll rectify the chart. And you and Victoria separately did the charts, and they came out with 11:55 p.m. And my aunt said, I don't know when you were born, but it was right around midnight. So you were spot on. And you told me that, and this is long before I'd ever written a book. I mean, 5 years before I ever wrote a book. You said I was going to write a lot of books. I was going to be on TV, and I would be traveling the world. And I remember laughing about it because I said, that's so far off to what's going to happen. And Bill, you were absolutely right. So I know astrology works. It's way over my pay grade, but boy, it certainly blows me away at times. That's for sure. Hey, Bill, we have a question here.
Yes.
Someone's asked, what do you charge for a horoscope?
$300.
Oh,
that's a 1 year forecast, but I have to analyze your chart natally, so I don't charge you for that. I send you about an hour and a half explanation of your natal chart, and then I do the forecast. I've got to do a thorough examination of the natal chart first before I do anything, before I can make any forecast.
Wow, it was $250 35 years ago. So you haven't gone up much in price. That's pretty good. Anyway, hey, listen, we're going to tell us about the election. What's your best guess?
I really haven't done much work on it. I just know the horoscopes for Election Day, the day the Electoral College makes the count, and for Inauguration Day are all very afflicted charts. And so my guess is I feel that Trump is, if it's a fair election, he wins. But, of course, they're going to try and, right here in New Jersey, they've been caught stuffing ballot boxes. They arrested a postman the other day for dumping mail, including ballots. And they've been finding Trump votes in trash cans all through New Jersey. This is going on, and yet people don't believe this voter fraud.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to win, but I think that's going to be followed by a lot of chicanery, violence, and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll be back with Bill Meridian someday in the future. May God bless, folks.